The things you own end up owning you. That is, of course, unless you finally realize that you own nothing. Then and only then will you be able to free yourself of all the attachments that have held you back from living the life you've always dreamed of living. Now, this quote, this idea comes from Tyler Durden in the movie Fight Club. If you have watched the movie, you understand the context. If not, this movie is in one sense a criticism of consumerism. And you know all too well how prevalent consumerism is. You scroll on TikTok, you scroll on Instagram, you scroll on YouTube. There are ads every 5 seconds. Watching Hulu, ads every 5 minutes. We are inundated by advertising, by product placements. When you walk down the street of any metro area, you see billboards, you see signs on buses. You see people wearing logos on their clothes. You see the storefronts, people window shopping, all of the window dressing. We are brainwashed every single day to buy, to spend, to acquire, to feel like we're becoming someone because we're building this identity based on products, based on brands, based on clothes and cars and makeup and lip gloss and eyeliner, all of the things that make us who we are in the modern world. See, if you do not break free from this, all of the things you own, quote unquote, will end up owning you. You will become so attached to the car you drive, to the clothes you wear, to the shoes you put on every single day, that you will be unable to figure out who you could be, who you desperately want to be, who you dream of being every single night you lay your head on the pillow. And I can tell you this is the case because whenever I was 14, 15, 16, I wanted to be the cool guy. I wanted to be the popular kid in high school because in middle school, I was bullied. I was overweight. I was not very charismatic. I was not very good with the ladies. And thus, I was, in a sense, at the lowest part of the pecking order of the school society, of the school hierarchy. After I got in shape, starting around the age of 14, 15, I decided that I wanted to rise up that hierarchy. I wanted to be the baddest. I wanted to be the richest. I wanted to be the coolest. I wanted to own all of the things. I wanted to drive all the cars. I wanted to eat all of the fancy dinners. I wanted to be at all of the best spots. I wanted to be that guy. And I still want to do these things. I still want to drive a fantastic car. I still want to go to cool places. I still want to eat great food. But at 14, 15, 16, even 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, I was consumed by this idea. I became this idea. I identified with this need to possess, to acquire, to buy these fancy clothes, to look the part, to build this identity of someone who could afford all of the nicest luxuries on planet Earth. And that was the issue. See, there's nothing wrong with being a consumer. There's nothing wrong with buying things, right? Why else do you make money but to spend it? Yes, you can invest it in Bitcoin or in ETFs or in real estate or bonds, whatever you want. You can invest your money, and I invest my money. All prudent people do. Even imprudent people invest their money. You don't have to be that smart to do it, quite frankly. But at a certain point, you have to spend a bit of dough. You have to go out there and have some fun. You got to go out there and meet some people. And you meet people by perhaps buying a drink at the bar, perhaps buying someone's meal, or taking somebody else out on a date, a nice date, a date where you tip well, where you get the appetizer, where you get a couple drinks. Maybe you buy the whole bottle, right? Whenever you have money, you want to spend money. And there's nothing wrong with that because money is just a currency of exchange. It's just a currency of time and effort. And who doesn't like to spend some of their time and effort on a bit of pleasure? The problem, again, is identifying with the things you own, quote unquote, the things that you've been convinced that you own, the things that you will never own, because the only thing you might own is your soul. And I can't confirm that you do because I haven't seen the other side of this world. I believe you do. I feel like I know you do, but I can't confirm it because I haven't been to the other side. That is the only thing that you may own is your soul. Who you are in the sense of who you decide to be through your actions. How do you treat people? Do you love authentically and openly? Do you express yourself authentically and openly? Do you speak your mind? Do you speak the truth? Do you stand up for what's right? Are you moral? Are you virtuous? Are you righteous? All of these things that can be debated, that can be played with, that can be unpacked in their own videos. But that is the only thing you may own, is your soul. The things you definitely don't own are your cars, are your clothes, are your watches, the cigars you smoke. You don't own even the people in your lives. You don't own the relationships you have. You don't own anything. You don't own this body. All of this is rented. Everything around you is rented. The apartment you live in, rented. The car, rented. Even if you have it paid off in cash, rented. Because inevitably it will break down. Or inevitably you will lose the ability to drive and you will sell it. It's rented. Your clothes, maybe you outgrow them. Maybe you get fat. Maybe you get skinny. Maybe you simply lose the love for them. Maybe you just want something new. Rented. All of it is something you rent. And the best example of this in one of the best books you can read is the Holy Bible. Think of Job. Job, the richest man in all the land. Super righteous and pious towards God. God loved Job. And the devil said, hey God, let me test this Job character. I bet you he won't stick around. I bet you he won't remain faithful to you if I take away everything from him. His wife, his kids, his livestock, his house, his crops, his money, everything. I'm going to take it away. I bet you he will turn to my side. God said, no, he won't, because Job's the best. Job would never turn to your side because he loves me and he has faith in me. And thus the devil took everything away. He killed his family. He killed his servants. He burned down the house. He took the money, killed the livestock. Everything was taken away from him. And yet Job did not turn. Why did Job not turn? Well, Job did not turn because Job understood deeply, viscerally, through his own experience, the most dramatic example you could possibly think of, that he owned nothing. Everything he owned was rented. And thus, moving forward, he was not going to identify with the things he, quote unquote, owned. The money, the livestock, the land, the crops, the house, the family, the clothes, etc. He was not going to identify with it anymore. He was going to appreciate it. He was going to be grateful for it. He was going to love that he had it, but he's not going to identify with it. He was going to take it and let it go. Take his hand off of it. Stop gripping it so tightly because I need it, I need it, I need it. I need my family. I need my clothes. I need my cars. I need all of my... No, he was going to let it go. And thus, since he remained faithful to God because he figured that God was still great, that his soul was still intact, that he was still a good person, that he was still doing the right thing, that he was still faithful, that he was still pious, that he was still aligned with the divine. His soul was clean, as we previously touched upon. God gave him double, triple what he had before. And this is the paradox, right? Whenever you detach from the things you quote unquote own, you actually get more. So even if you want to game the system, which I don't know if you can, I don't believe this is how it works, but theoretically, even if you wanted to game the system, you should detach just for your own self-interest, even if you are a glutton, even if you want more, because you can't just get enough, right? Even if you just wanted to game the system, you could do it that way. I don't believe it works. In fact, I've seen it not work, but theoretically, it's possible. In any case, you need to let go of the things you quote unquote own, because if you don't, they will own you. You will make decisions in your life based on what you can acquire, what you can wear, what you can drive, what place you can live in, who you can date, who you can have sex with, who you can be friends with. You're going to make decisions based on all of this stuff, and you're going to make decisions with the highest priority being status, being what other people think. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with this, right? You can do this if you may, but it comes with a lot of drawbacks. The first of which is that you are vulnerable to the opinions of others. When you make decisions based on what other people are going to think, in this case, what you wear, what you drive, where you go, where you live, who you fuck, etc., you are going to be at the whims of what people think. And if people don't like your taste anymore, all of a sudden, your identity is in shambles. You don't have one anymore. It's broken like glass on the ground. You're cooked. Point blank, period. Simply put, you are cooked. You are smoked like a Thanksgiving turkey. You are cooked like an Easter ham because you've outsourced approval to other people. That's the first drawback. The second drawback is that things will be taken away from you. I can tell you this because last year, I was at the height of my powers as a basketball player. And I say that so dramatically, like I'm LeBron James in 2018 carrying the Cavaliers to the finals. Obviously, I'm not. But I was at the height of my powers. I had never been better. And then all of a sudden, I do a crossover on the court when I'm training at LA Fitness, and my back just gets thrown out of whack. I didn't think it was a big deal. So a couple days later, after I let it rest, I went back out, and I went to jump, I landed, and boom, my spine gave out. Completely ruined it. Disc slipped. I couldn't play basketball for 6 months. Now, granted, I've met people who have gone through far worse injuries. I drove somebody in Pittsburgh last year who ended up not being able to play basketball for 20 years because of an injury. He still can't play today. We talked about it. We had a great conversation. I gave him my blessing because I could not imagine losing the game permanently. I only lost it for 6 months. But this example is still prevalent because things will be taken away from you. Money will be taken away from you. It could be stolen. Your phone could get hacked. Your bank account could get hacked. It's happened to people I've known. It's happened to strangers. Things can be taken away from you. Your children can be taken away from you. It's happened to people I've known. I drove one guy who had a child, and then his baby mother ended up winning a bunch of money on the lottery. She took the child because the courts gave the child to her for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure. And then she proceeded to blow the $500,000 on trips to Miami, to Houston, to the islands, shopping, etc. She didn't spend any of it on the kid. How much do you think that would hurt as a man if you were a father of a child that you desperately wanted to see? Things will be taken away from you, and then you'll be spat at. You'll be spat at by life. This is why attaching to things is a trap. It's not because it's inherently wrong. It's because it makes you vulnerable. Because things will be taken away from you. Even if you maintain good health, it will be taken away from you. Eventually, you will die. You will become decrepit. Even if it takes 1,000 years, you will wither into dust. It will be taken away from you. Eventually. Your career, you'll be replaced. Somebody younger, somebody more ambitious and hungrier will take your spot. Trust me, it will happen. I've seen it in the multiple places I've worked and in driving the many executives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that I picked up on a day-to-day basis. You will be replaced. No matter how good you are, no matter how hungry you think you are, no matter how great you think you'll become, you'll be replaced. It will be taken away from you. Like I said, everything will be taken away. And so if you want to build an untouchable mind, one that cannot be broken by circumstance, one aspect of it is detaching from all of these things that you own. The career that you've solidified, the position that you have locked down, the apartment or the house that you have bought, that you have purchased with cash, the car that is now yours because you just received the title and you owe no payments, the clothes that fit perfectly, fresh, the shoes that are shiny right out of the box, the watch that glistens like the sun in the sky, reflecting off a lake or pond. All these things will be taken away from you. And so even though it is inherently neutral to detach or attach, your mind will be weakened by outsourcing your identity and outsourcing the approval you feel for yourself to external things and other people. With that, I say, let me know what you think about this in the comments. If you have any questions, go to the Instagram in the description. I will answer them all in the DMs. And stay tuned for the next video. Much love, peace. This is Nuno Da Vinci with Untouchable Mentality. Have a great day.